Okay, so on your desk you need a piece of loose leaf. All we're doing today is reviewing for the Chapter 2 test, which is when? Wednesday, okay? You should get your homework done right now in class. What is one thing you could do to study for the test? Cam?
Do math.
Okay, where is there math for you to do?
Everywhere.
Briley?
Academy.
Yeah, on the Google Classroom stream. Remember I posted those 2 links, or 2 attachments, right here. There is an IXL review checklist, and there is a Khan Academy practice list if you want to do more to study for your test. I have a Chapter 2 review worksheet for you to do today. If you finish it in class, you're going to get on your Chromebook and work through some of these on the board, okay? I don't care which one you go to. I don't care which lessons you choose to practice. I would choose the lessons that you feel you need the most practice at. You can probably guess that by when you do your review. If you get to something and you're like, "Ooh, I kind of forgot how to do this," that might be a skill that you want to go back and practice. Yes? You can get it when you're done with the other thing, okay? So before you start your review, there's some things that I know you're going to forget about, or you maybe forgot about, so we're just going to refresh your memory. First one, prime factorization. Kanan, give me a 2-digit number.
69.
Let's do 70. Okay? How do I find the prime factorization? Cooper, I'm up here. Nolan?
Multiply something by something to get 70.
Yeah, I have to figure out 2 factors of 70 to break it down into. How do I know when I'm finished? Cam?
When all the numbers are prime.
Yeah, when the whole bottom row is prime. So let's work through this. Avery, can you think of 2 numbers I can multiply together to get 70? 10 times 7 is perfect. Paxton, are both of those prime numbers? Which one is not?
7.
So what can you multiply together to get 7? Okay, so that means it is prime. So is there anything we can multiply together to get 10? Okay, 5 times 2. So I would break this down into 5 times 2. What do I do with my 7, Briley? I just drop it down. Okay, is 5 prime?
Yes.
Is 2 prime? Is 7 prime? So I am almost done. How do I give my answer? Cooper?
You do it from least to greatest.
In order from least to greatest. So 2 times 5 times 7. What happens, and I'm just going to add another number. That's correct. That would be as simple as we can get here. What if it was 2 times 2 times 5 times 7 times 7? What is a better way to write that prime factorization, Carter?
2 over
2 squared, so 2 with an
squared.
exponent of 2.
5.
So times 5, okay?
And 7 squared.
Times 7 squared, okay? If there's a repeat of one of the numbers, we can write it using exponents. Okay, so that's something that people forget because that was at the beginning of the chapter. What if it tells me to evaluate 4 to the 3rd power? What does evaluate mean? Logan?
The number, the exponent is how many of the base numbers you read out.
Okay, yeah, so that's telling me to write out 4 times 4 times 4. Good job. And if it says, if it wants that as an answer, what would the directions tell me? If it wants me to stop right there, what would the directions tell me? What is that step called? Jack? Yeah, write it as a product of the same factor. If it says write it as a product of the same factor, I'm done. If it says evaluate or find the value, Nolan, what do I need to do?
4 times 4 is 4.
Okay, yeah, so 4 times 4 is 16. You might have to come out to the side and do some scratch work to see that 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. okay, if it says evaluate. How will I know if it wants my answer as an exponent? What might it ask? Kinley? What do we call it if it has an exponent? Power. It might say write the product as a power, or it might say write it using exponents. Those are the ones you should like because you don't have to do any math. If it says 9 times 9 times 9 and it says write the product using exponents, you would just write 9 to the third power. The only other thing that I want to go over is if you have something like this, 50 times 10 to the fourth. This kind of went with the mental math section, but it also kind of brought in exponents. Who can help me? What would I do here? Lena, where would I start?
So you would write down 10 to the fourth power.
Okay, so I'm going to write out to the side. What does 10 to the fourth power tell me to do?
10 times 10 times 10 times 10.
Okay, what is the value of that? So what's 1 times 1 times 1 times 1? And then how many zeros do I need behind that? 4. So that just is the value of that 10 to the fourth. Ethan, what do I do after that? Or go ahead.
50 times 10,000.
Okay, what mental math can I do to do 50 times 10,000?
5 times 1.
Okay, what is 5 times 1?
5.
And then how many zeros do I need behind that?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And besides that, it's all just multiplication and estimating. Yes?
I have a question.
I have an answer.
So, 10 to the fourth,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you add 4 zeros after the 10?
Not after the 10. The rule is a 1 and the exponent tells the number of zeros. That's why it's almost easier to just write it out so you can visually see, okay, 1 times 1 times 1. There's 4 zeros in the problem, 4 zeros in the, because that's a common error, is they do 10 and then add 4 zeros, which will give you too many. Okay, so you have the whole rest of the hour. I'm going to pass out the review sheet. It's 18 questions. Why do you think I had you get out a piece of loose leaf?
So you can write the answers out.
That's where you're going to do your work at, okay? If you're doing problem number 1, number it number 1. Problem number 2 may not have work, so you don't have to write anything down, but then when you do problem number 3, write 3, circle it or something, so we know it's problem number 3. Anytime you're working on loose leaf, label it to where if you miss one, you can easily find your work, okay? Once you are finished, I'm going to leave this up here on the board so you can kind of look up if you need to. But your task list is 1 is your review worksheet. Most of you should finish in class. If you don't, that's your homework. If you finish that, you're going to either do the IXL or the Con review in Google Classroom just until this class is over. Okay, so the whole time you're in here, I want you to be working on math, because when is our test? Wednesday, okay? Stop this.